Hello, my name is Grandin Gill, and I am the Academic Director of the Doctor of Business Administration program offered by the University of South Florida's Muma College of Business. In this video, I am going to talk briefly about our new online Doctor of Business Administration program. Let me start by providing a little bit of background. The DBA program at USF launched in 2015 and has been really quite successful as a program that was a hybrid, basically 20 hours of class time face-to-face and the rest of the activities done independently with online support. While this worked for a lot of people who had applied for the program, we were always getting a few applications every year from people who really could not come in for the monthly 2-day residency. Despite this, we felt that it probably was not practical to deliver the DBA program online. For one thing, a lot of our faculty had not really done much in the way of online teaching, and for the second, it wasn't clear to us that we'd be able to maintain that high level of interactivity in an online environment. So what came next was COVID-19. And when COVID-19 emerged, we were required to go completely online. So teaching face-to-face was no longer an option. And we had a challenging first semester, but it was a lot better than it could have been. And in subsequent semesters, we were operating in what we call a high flex form, where we were having students in the classroom, but also allowing them to connect into the experience online. And what was interesting to us is that a substantial majority chose to connect in online. Obviously, the convenience was a big factor, but also there were health concerns that drove it. But as we gained more and more experience operating this way, our original concerns about a pure online cohort started to be addressed. So in May 2022, we launch our first online cohort. And it will operate independently from our original cohorts, but it will have the same type of high level of interactivity. It will simply have participants spread around the country and perhaps around the world. In this particular video, what we're going to do is we'll start by talking about ways in which the online cohort is identical to the original cohort, and then we'll talk about some of the key differences between the online and the original cohort and why it has been designed that way. So let's begin by looking at the ways in which the original program and the new online cohort are identical. As you will soon see, the two programs are the same in many important ways. To begin with, the admissions requirements are the same. In fact, when you apply to the USF Muma College of Business DBA program, your application can be used for either the original cohort or the online cohort. We are awarding AACSB accredited degrees in both cases. AACSB will not distinguish whether you got your degree from the online program or from the regular program. The costs are identical of the two programs. The 3-year duration that is expected for the vast majority of participants will be the same. These programs are designed to get through in 3 years. The curriculum will be the same, and this opens up another possibility, which is that if you end up starting in one program, you may be able to switch over to the other program, and all the credits will transfer. Now, there will be some timing differences, so it will probably take more than 3 years because you've got to rejoin the new program at precisely the right point in the sequence. But in the past, we have had some issues where people in the original program got transferred and could no longer come in on a regular basis for the required monthly meetings. And there wasn't really a lot we could do for them. Now they could switch over to the online program if it's necessary. The instructors will be drawn from the same pool, and for the most part will be the same instructors that we've had teaching in the original program. They now all have experience delivering content effectively online. We may have some variation due to scheduling issues and also due to our desire to bring in new high-quality instructors, but essentially the pool and quality will be equivalent between the two programs. The dissertation process, whereby we assemble your dissertation committees for you, will be exactly the same. There are more details on things like the dissertation process and also the types of dissertations that we accept, which is the same for the online program, in other videos and on the DBA website. Finally, you will get the same conference and research budget, that is to say $6,000 awarded available over the 3-year period to attend conferences, and $2,000 extra in your last year for research expenses. You will have the access to these same funds in the online degree. So when you look at the stuff that's really important, the online and the original program are virtually identical. There are some differences between the original and online program. And what I will now do is briefly go over the most important of these and try to explain why we felt these changes were needed to ensure the effectiveness of the online program. Let's begin by looking at how the two programs are delivered. We'll start with our original program. And in our original program, the principal means of delivery is face-to-face in the classroom, which also involves a lot of interactions between small groups. So it's not like you've got all lecture. There's a tremendous amount of interaction between the participants as part of this classroom experience. The classroom experience takes about 20 hours per course. And the outside work per class ranges from about 30 to 60 hours total. That leads to a total of 10 to 15 hours of outside work throughout the year in the original cohort. If we now look at the online cohort, what substitutes for classroom is synchronous sessions on Microsoft Teams, which is our current tool for connecting. That could change over time, but we will use whatever video tool the university chooses to have us use. We have 20 hours of synchronous time per class, and what that means is that you and your classmates will be online together for 20 hours for each of the classes that you take. Finally, there will be 30 to 60 hours of outside work assigned, just as there are in the regular program, meaning that in the online program you will be expected to do 10 to 15 hours of work per week over the course of the 3-year program. The one difference in the online program is that you will not have to spend the time traveling to and from classes. And for people local to the Tampa Bay area, that's not necessarily such a big deal. But if you were coming from other locations, and we have in our original program had people come in from far-flung places like Toronto, the Bahamas, Belize, and Israel, obviously the online will save quite a bit of time. Another distinction between the online and the original program is the size of the cohort. In both programs, you will be going through the program your entire 3 years with the same group of people, called a cohort. Now, in our original program, where interaction is in the classroom, our cohorts typically range somewhere between 20 and 32 people, and cohorts of 30 people or more are not uncommon. In the online program, we're limiting the cohorts to a maximum of 15, and that's because our experience during COVID has been that it's a lot harder to ensure that everyone is getting a chance to interact when they are online, as opposed to in the classroom where they can raise their hands and signal for attention. Another important distinction between the original and the online program is the overall scheduling. In the original program, we schedule according to semesters, so students take classes during August to December and then January through May. In the online program, we are using a trimester schedule, and in that schedule, you will basically be taking classes in the spring, summer, and fall, and that will occur throughout the 3-year period. And typically there will be about a month without classes between each of the trimesters. The meeting schedule in the online program is also a little different from that of the original program. In the original program, you meet once a month for a full Friday and Saturday, totaling 16 hours of class time. In the online program, we have chosen to go with alternate Saturdays, and the reason for this is that we find that doing 8 hours online is pretty exhausting, and to have 2 days in a row of it, you start to lose the effectiveness towards Saturday afternoon. So we'll have an alternate Saturday schedule. However, there will be some variation because the online program will never run during a DBA weekend, and also there are holidays to take into account. And as a result, there will always be a calendar on the website. The duration of the Saturday meetings will either be 8 hours when you have 2 courses running together, 4 hours per course, or 4 hours because in some of our periods we only have 1 course operational. Normally that's a course which involves a lot of writing, so that we want to give you some more time to work on that course. Finally, when you reach the dissertation phase, we move to a schedule which is much more like the original. And you will have meetings with your dissertation committee effectively every 4 weeks for 4 hours. And you will also have a 4-hour meeting of an issues course. And we discuss issues courses in other videos, but these are essentially the courses that take place mainly during your final year that you select from proposals made by faculty and alumni. The final significant distinction between the original and the online program involves residencies. Obviously, in an online program, you don't want to have people coming in all the time. The whole reason they're taking it online is so that they don't have to. In our regular program, we have 30 weekends where everyone meets over the course of the 3 years. In the online program, we have reduced that dramatically, but we still feel that some face-to-face interaction is important. So if you take a look at the online program, the first residency occurs mid-May of your first year, and this is really where we onboard you. It involves our initial research workshop, where we give you a computer and we get you into the USF systems. There's an additional cost of $2,500 for this, just as there is in our original program. And it will be an opportunity for you to meet the faculty that you'll be interacting with, meet your classmates face to face, and just become familiar with us and where we will be interacting with you from. The next residency will occur in late February of your second year, about 19 or 20 months after the first residency. And in that residency, what will happen is you will be meeting with your dissertation committee. In the USF DBA program, we create committees of faculty to match up with groups that participants have selected for each other. And you're going to be working with that group very, very closely at the end of your second year, at the beginning, and throughout your third year. And we feel that giving you an opportunity to first meet with them face to face, shake their hands if we're allowing handshaking, and get a sense to start building a relationship with your committee is very important. Finally, there's an optional residency at the very end of the program, which will allow you to attend the graduation ceremonies, should you choose to do so. And we can figure out how we'll get you sized for regalia, and you can then participate in USF's graduation. But that's really the limit of residencies, though you are, of course, always welcome to drop by our offices at any point during the program. Just make sure you email us in advance so we know that you're coming. Well, that concludes this presentation about the online DBA here at the University of South Florida's Muma College of Business. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us at muma-dba@usf.edu or go to the website usf.edu/dba and you'll find contact information and phone numbers. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.